Alright guys, so it's the next morning after I made the epic shot on that elk and missed them. So during that time, it was like an emotional thing, you know what I mean? But I have to look at it different. I've been bow hunting for 20-something years and a bunch of different species. That was the culminating event of my entire hunting career. And when I released that arrow, that was it. That was the Super Bowl. That was the last Hail Mary pass right there. First of all, there's absolutely no excuse on this planet. I'm saying I had my whole life to prepare for that. I would never even think of an excuse. Failed mission, missed the elk. But when you look a little bit deeper, these elk, they're smart as heck. They're out there fighting for their lives. It's all about survival, and they do it every day. They're dodging mountain lions, hunters, cars, everything. So the elk was able to outsmart me. I was creeping up on him, and I got pinned behind a bush. There was one bush between me and the elk, actually two, a tiny one and a big one. I'm using these two bushes to try to make my way towards him, and he's coming out from behind the big bush. I'm pinned down behind the smaller bush, and I'm sitting down on a flat rock that just happened to be there. So I'm sitting down, I got my bow, I pull out my rangefinder, I range him at 73 yards, and he starts walking towards me, so I'm thinking 70. At this time, I'm adjusting my pins, because I have adjustable pins. I put it on my 70 mark. He comes around, he puts his head in the air, and he smells. And if you know animals, when they smell something that's not natural or something that's a predator or anything, they put their nose in the air and they start smelling, and they start looking in the direction of where it's coming. So at that point, I knew he probably caught some of my scent, but I think it was my older scent when I started to move in. You know, it's complicated, but he caught some of my old scent. He starts looking around, and then he starts to focus, and then when I start to move my bow up, he looks at me. And you know, when they're turning, and then they look and they freeze right there, and they get like tense, they're about to bolt. Maybe elk, might not, because elk, you know, they're bigger and they might be more aggressive and they might be ready to fight. But in this situation, I had a feeling that he was going to hold butt. So biggest elk I've ever seen up close and personal with a tag in my hand. It's my first elk tag. So I draw back. I'm getting ready to come over that bush, and I feel like he's going to run. So I go ahead and I take the seated shot. He was kind of quartered towards me. The footage that you saw that Adrian took, he was up on a mountain top, so it looks like he was broadside, but he was kind of angled towards me. So his shoulder shielded a lot of his vitals. I could have hit him a little bit further back, but I aimed towards the front because this is all kill shot area in the front, angled. I'm shooting at 300 feet per second. When I release that arrow, it's almost as if he saw the arrow coming, and he ducked about a foot, which is very weird for an elk. I've never seen one duck that much. So it was a 70-yard shot. I'm putting this in there because some of you might not realize how far 70 yards is. So those of you that play sports, say you play football, so you're at your goal post, not your goal post, but your goal line, and you're way on the other guy's 30. It's hard to believe that he can duck it going at such a fast speed, 300 feet per second. But think about that. If I was standing on your goal line and you were on the other side of the football field, and I shot an arrow at you and you see it coming at you, you would probably be able to duck it as a human. You would be able to duck it if you saw it coming. I've seen mule deer do it, white-tailed deer. They duck arrows all the time, and they'll duck a foot or whatever. For me, it's sad. For him, 100% props to the elk. He ducked it and he got away. But if you look at where my arrow hit him and you rewind from where I released, it would have been a kill shot all day. It would have been in the chest area. It would have went behind that blade. Guaranteed he would have ran less than 50 yards and he was done.
It looked like it would have hit his jugular or heart.
Yeah, it would have been jugular, a little bit lower, heart, whatever, he would have been finished. So the fact that this elk was able to duck that arrow, he ducked it so much that it just hit the top of his neck and went into like his upper back strap. That's the hardest bone on the planet. It's like there's upper spine, it's where you're cutting, and the back strap's right there. I'm shooting a heavy arrow, and when it hit, it just stopped right there. It hit like that back strap and just ding, just stopped and he held butt. Seemed like a lot of blood at first, but it stopped. And I tracked them for about 1.5 miles because, you know, I never want to give up. So
Straight uphill.
straight uphill. And when an animal's running uphill, 99% of the time they survive. Like if you watch Juju's hunt, when he fatally hit that deer, they try to go up and they can't, and they get weak and they start heading downhill. They're like, okay, maybe I can get. So anyways, he took off uphill, tracked him about 1.5 miles, started to get dark. The blood got thin to where it was 1 or 2 drops every 5 feet or so. That elk is going to be there again. I mean, we're going to continue to hunt him, but I don't know, he might run out of that valley. He might be gone now. But so if you don't think an elk is going to live through that, Google broadheads found in elk. When broadheads hit bone, they stick in there, and these elk that hunters get later on with rifles or whatever, they're cutting them open, and they always got broadheads in their bodies, which is weird. They're just really tough animals. That's a story. Absolutely no excuse. I'll never take an excuse out of this and try to say something happened. No, there's absolutely no excuse. The thing is, the elk outsmarted me. He ducked my arrow going at him, and I didn't do a good enough shot. So no excuses. I'm here to say that my culminating event of my entire life was to take down an elk, and I wasn't able to make it happen. But the good news is we got 2 more weeks left of tag. I got lucky. It was just like a blessing that one walked out. But I was going to burn my tag if I thought that he was fatally wounded. But after looking at the footage and everything, I'm not going to burn that tag because I'm going to end up seeing that elk back on that hillside again at some point. He's a monster. I'm going after him. What do we name him? Oh, we haven't named
that. We got to make a name now, and since you shot him, it should be something to do with that.
Duck. He duck.
Well, we'll come up with a name.
Yeah. Greatest feeling in the world, creeping up on him. Worst feeling in the world, not being able to take him down. But that's what makes hunting so special.
And a good feeling knowing he lived.
Oh yeah.
We think he's gonna live.
Come out here, I told Adrian that was one of the best times of my life right there. Creeping up on that beast, pulling back, shaking. There's not many things that can get me nervous nowadays and make me shake. I was literally, you know, I had, like they say, buck fever. I had elk fever. I was shaking. I was so happy, and when I hit him, I heard it hit, so I knew it hit his body. And just the feeling I got out of that, if I don't kill an elk, still had the feeling, still had everything, the joy out of it. Out here with my son, just having a good time. You can't beat it. So no regrets. Had a great time doing it, and I just wanted to clear that up. It took about a night to even be able to talk, but it was on the second active tag day, and for a guy like me, no guides, no real scouting, got my brand new bow and everything, to be able to take that shot was such a blessing, and the hunt continues. We're going to continue to hunt him specifically. If not, we will get another big bull, or at least try to make some pushes on big bulls, some plays on them. A humbling experience. We're out here to sweat. We're out here to get away from the city life and just be humble. And believe me, that bull humbles me to the max. I shoot targets at 70 yards and 80 yards. We're practicing, and I'm hitting smaller than a plate. But in the heat of the moment, when he was looking at me dead in my eye and I lifted that bow and I released, it didn't happen. It just wasn't meant to be, I guess. But no excuse. Take it all on my shoulders, regroup, and we're going to try to make it happen.
And elk, like he said, they're not really known for it. We've never seen an elk dip that low before, which is kind of, a first. But hey, it happens. And like you said, we're really lucky just to even get the opportunity at something like that. He's going to be alive, and you never know when this rut kicks up. We might even see him in that same valley, and it'd be funny if he's got the arrow sticking out of him still, and you go and put another one in him. We'll have to get him mounted with the arrow out of his neck if that happens.
And one more thing I was going to say. We're sitting here talking about arrows being slow and stuff, but even that's not an excuse, because we know what we signed up for. When you go for the archery elk tag, you're talking about the special forces of hunting. These guys are like, just to go archery, you gotta have, you know, levels of steel just to go archery, because you're only gonna get this tag every 15 years or so if you're lucky. We know guys that are 17 years that haven't drawn this tag. So no matter what, if I kill an elk, if I don't kill an elk, 7 years I can't even put in. So to put in for the archery tag, I knew what I signed up for, is we got to do better, and hopefully we get that elk off the mountaintop and on my wall. I learned this through the military. No matter what happens, how much of an excuse you think you have, you just take it like a man. There's absolutely no excuses. You fix it. You do better next time. Excuses are for
The weak.
And I love watching UFC, and if somebody takes a loss like a man and they say, you know what, the other guy was a better man tonight, he knocked me out or whatever, I respect him 100 times more than a guy that gets knocked out and says, you know, I didn't eat right, or I didn't put enough hours in the gym, or whatever. If you didn't do your time in the gym, that's all on you. Get the job done. And I didn't do that this time, so there we go.
All right, I hope you guys enjoyed those clips. It's a little clip, but I just wanted to kind of put an update out there on what happened to Senior and show you guys that we're out there chasing bull elk. By the time you guys see this, we're going to be right back in the mountains chasing bull elk again. So I'm actually going to hold off on posting our full hunting videos until after we punch both of our bull tags, just because I don't want to kind of blow out our spots, show where we're at, and have people go in there and maybe push some of our bulls out of the country. And also I want to post them kind of back to back a little bit to keep you guys from waiting so long from one video to the next, because we're going to be posting quite a bit of videos from this overall hunting trip, because once again we've got 2 tags to fill. So to my fans out there, love you guys. You guys are always showing support. I'm seeing a lot of the same names and stuff, and if anybody is new here to the channel, if you wanted to show some support, if you liked the video you just watched, to go ahead and turn on the post notifications down below and drop a like. For some reason we've been having a hard time reaching a new audience, and it would just really help. It would really help support the channel and help support us on our future hunting trips, and keep creating awesome content for you guys to post here on YouTube. But other than that, I want to really thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you outdoors.